Hey, good night, my brother. How you doing? Sorry, man. Mo and I were talking for quite some time, and I didn't get a chance to send you a message. Um, we just kind of wrapped up not too long ago. I just took a shower and about to go to bed. Um, I guess you can tell on the tone of my voice. Things are not good. Be honest. Be really, really honest. And that long message I sent is a reflection on some things I was going to do anyways, but now I have to do things now, forced to do things sooner than I needed to, and I have to do it under duress, distress, duress, whatever you call it, because financially things are really bad, and it's affecting Mo and I in the worst way. Yeah, whatever worst way you can think of. Yeah. So, sorry, I don't know when we'll get a chance to talk, but this is extremely urgent and serious. Um, I don't know if I'm heading down like now, or I'll be heading down to Canada in January. I personally I would rather January just because I can plan longer for things around that time. But it's just a very stressful time now. A very stressful time, and it's very, very sad. And yeah, I'm I can't say anything is good right now. It's just not. We're going through a lot, and it's really causing a lot of problems between us, and it's yeah, it's very bad. So I'm not sure when we'll have a chance to talk, but I just gotta be real with you, brother. It's it's bad. So I'll talk to you soon. Much love, and yeah, we'll get to talking, so you know what's up. All right. I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
So as you can see in that clip, um, Kirk is actually really sad. Like he's really upset at this point. He doesn't know what to do, and there's a lot going on between both him and Monique, and it's terrible. They literally just got married um, a year and a month ago at this point, from when I got the voice note from Kirk, and you would think that they'd be happy, everything would be okay, but this guy is literally telling me at this point right now that they're going through something so detrimental that whatever I could think of that would be the worst thing to happen in a relationship, that's what it is. And it's like, how? You guys just left the country, went to Ghana, you guys are freshly married, just literally past 1 year. So anyways, I'm going to continue with the video from where I left off, and we're going to get into this.
With this particular thing. So I moved to Accra, and Mr. Logic was dealing with pretty much the landlord who we were moving into the new house for, right? So he was dealing with the landlord. And one of the reasons why is because we were having a little bit of issues with immigration. So we were, yeah, like we were going back and forth with immigration, and Mr. Logic was helping us to be able to stay in the country so that I would be able to do the music. The plan was for us to get a work permit. So Mr. Logic convinced us that we needed to get a 3-year work permit, and then after that we could apply for citizenship. So we agreed, and we paid a lot of money to get it done, to be under his company as his employees. So we did that, and then Grandpa and Victoria, they would be our dependents, right? So Kirk and I would have the work permit, and then Grandpa and Victoria would be the dependents. So yes, so we did that.
Yeah. So, okay, so the whole thing, like I was telling you guys before, with the whole seed planting thing, she's saying like there's a whole other thing and there's a lot of stuff with how they got to Accra and everything else. But like what she doesn't want to tell you is that Buddy literally planted the seed, and it became a thing of, like, she goes on to say later on in the video about how she resented Kirk. Well, this is the reason why she started to resent him, because you had like this dude that came in and became her hero kind of thing. You understand? So it, again, like I said, what are you gonna do for me? Because I did this for you. Um, he went, got them a place out in Accra that's not necessarily the easiest place to get housing from. There were interviews of people asking, how in the hell did you get all the way from Canada right beside Mr. Logic? Like, how did that end up working out? Because even me, who's person who is Ghanaian, not me personally, but the interviewer saying this is like, I've been here, I'm a resident here, I'm a citizen here, and I can't even get a place down by where Mr. Logic resides. And you came from Canada and you're able to do that.
Where do you live?
I live in Accra.
Do you live closer to him?
We don't live too far from each other. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, I wanted to rent an apartment closer to him. There was none. And I've been asking him to get me one. And you came from Canada not long ago to get a place very close to him. What a wow.
And again, this is all a part of the seed planting tactic that Logic did to get what he wanted, essentially, from Monique. And again, with the whole deporting thing and everything else, you guys already know he came in, swooped in, and helped them out. Okay, so that part of it is like a whole,
and we agreed to that, so we paid for that. Okay, then, like I said, we went to a new house in Accra. Basically, in Accra or anywhere in Ghana, what they do is they want you to pay for the year up front, right? They don't do like monthly rent. So we had to pay for a whole year up front. So we did that, right? We paid for 1 year, and then the 1 year went up, and now we're going into the second year, so we paid for the second year. What we did not know was...
So, okay, so there you go. Second year,
that man,
they were
Mr.
going
Logic,
into the
he was
second year.
paying himself instead of paying the landlord
at this point,
the money.
they literally just
And the thing is,
celebrated
I found
their
out later
anniversary.
on that the landlord was complaining a lot and was very upset, but Mr. Logic would always stop the landlord from coming to the house. So the landlord was stopping him from dealing with us directly, and he was stopping us from dealing with the landlord directly. He wanted to be the person that was dealing with the landlord, and he did not want us to have any interaction with the landlord whatsoever. Okay, so boy, it was just a big mess. Then we met a beautiful family from America who basically, through our channel, we met an American family, we became good friends.
The guys from New York. So these guys from New York, the husband's a DJ. I forget what the wife does. Really cool people. They were supposed to be a part of the whole July Soul Band thing. So this is kind of like, at this point, where she's talking, Kirk and Mo are like real wishy-washy. Like, it's bad, but it's not terrible just yet. They're making connections, but at this time as well, Kirk was also going over to that guy's house, the DJ's house. He found refuge over there because of everything that was going on with Mo and Kirk presently at the time that she's talking about right now. They were not at good terms, and he would stay over there all sorts of times of the night. Monique was leaving and going to meet up with Logic, claiming that she's gone to the studio. Kirk has never verified that. He never followed them. I'm all the way over here. I couldn't verify anything. So we'd have to take her word for the fact that she had gone to the studio. There are screenshots of Kirk sending pictures of, not sending pictures, but sending loving messages to her to try and woo her back.
Okay, so that's it from this morning. And this is where things get weird for me. Because there'll be like times where she be nice and whatever you think everything's cool, whatever. And then next, start cuss me. Or just treat me like, like me and nobody. So I know, man. It really takes me for a roller coaster at some days. I'm in no stress and pressure to do that to people. I get it, but no, it still bother me. Still bother me. Man, this is the confusing part again. Like she was out today with Mr. Logic going do some stuff and met some people and everything. And now she come back and soon she come in and she's saying hi. And I'm just walking up to her and she gives me a half hug and stuff. But it's like you carry on saying you don't want to touch me, you don't want me to touch you and everything. And then you greet me and say, hi, are you okay? How you doing? And I'm like, and you hug. So I'm like, it's like, it's if you're not going to do anything, it's like I'd rather you not do nothing at all. You know what I mean? I'd rather you just don't do anything at all than, you know, I don't like the in-between stuff. Like one foot just in the water and then you take it out and you keep doing it, right? So I'm like, are you going to jump in the water or are you going to stay on the shore? Like, what are you going to do? Like, pick one, not the in-between foolishness. That's where I get confused and not sure what's going on, you know? Cause they come in like she's still the same person, and then they come in like at the same time the same person hates my guts. I don't know what to call it. Sure.
But unfortunately, none of that worked. She would not respond. Kirk would tell me that she's not responding. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? Because you guys literally just got married a year ago, and none of this makes any sense. But then you can kind of see, like I said before in the previous video, the seed was planted, and now it's starting to blossom. There's a sprout that happened and it's coming out because she's showing her true colors and what she's actually wanting. You got married literally a year ago and you're spending more time with the person that is kind of trying to start up your music career more so than hanging out with your husband at home. Okay, this is where all of this is starting to go.
Started to work together, and Mr. Logic stepped in and said that he could do the same thing for them, get them a work permit under his company, which they agreed as well. And long story short, he ended up going to court because they ended up taking him to court for defrauding them for this work permit. And basically he did the same thing to me and my family as well. He defrauded us out of thousands of dollars, just like he did with the American family. So now basically...
So the thousands of dollars that she's talking about, I'll insert some stuff. I'm not going to put up how much money and all the rest of it in the text that I had between myself and Mo. But she does talk about how she had to pay all of this money. And it's because Kirk went and did something which caused... he basically went out and did work. But he didn't really work. But he was trying to push Mo's career and wanted to do like a party kind of thing and get people to pay to go to the party, and then money would be performing and he would also be performing, but he didn't necessarily have the work permit to do that. So it caused a lot of problems because if you don't have these permits, you can't do certain things, just like with anywhere. So I may be a little bit off in what I'm saying, but this is basically the gist of what happened. Like, he was not supposed to set up anything, and he was trying basically to do something for Mo so that she could continue to pop her career off, and then maybe at the same time bring some money into the household, because money was a big situation between the two of them. They were fighting over money. A lot of money was going out and no money was really coming in. Kirk was looking like the guy that couldn't do anything because during all of this, Kirk had asked me to help him with his TD Bank card. His card would not work for whatever reason. I don't know, but hers did.
We have no work
Well,
permit.
hers actually ended up working. I don't know why, but it did. And then that meant in order for them to pay for certain things, Kirk would have to then transfer the money from his account over to her account, and then she would pay. Those of you that are in Ghana, as soon as I said that, are like, oh my God, because you all know that if you're out there, the man is supposed to be the guy that deals with everything. He sets the tone. And if the woman is the one that's setting the tone, it becomes a thing where they stop respecting the man, they move in on the woman, and then it's easier for the woman to get manipulated in that way. So again, as you go through the video and you watch it, you hear her talk about how she was manipulated, she was taken advantage of, da 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 da. Well, that wouldn't have happened if you had let the man, your husband, be the man in the relationship instead of, well, I paid for this and I paid for that and I did this and I did that, which again she does in her text to me complaining about how Kirk is and what he's not doing versus what she's doing and how she's tired, and all of that will be revealed. I'll have the clips here.
We have no work permit, and we noticed that all of a sudden Mr. Logic has a new car, he has a new house, okay, and and he's all of a sudden he's living this lavish life. Okay, so now as time goes by, we're starting the music. So I'm getting into the studio. I'm recording. I ended up recording an EP, and we shot a music video for one of the songs on the EP. We shot a few music videos, but only one came out.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure all of you guys have seen this music video, but what you may not have seen is the little basement video, whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's a DJ and her with a mic for the song called Wind Down Low. Let me just show you how bad at this point it's gotten, and how the seed that I keep talking about was planted, and now it's blooming. It's getting bigger. You could see that there's resentment if you continue to put pieces of the puzzle together. So she comes out with this song with Logic. Logic is pushing this narrative that she's a young singer and stuff like that. She does end up dating herself in a couple of the interviews, if you guys pay attention, how she talks about how she used to read lyrics off of the back of the albums. Back when albums came with lyrics attached to them with the little book, that was back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, which if she was already able to purchase these things because she had a job, she would have been 16, 18, 20 something, etc. So for those of you that don't know, Monique is not some 20-year-old girl. She's not some 30-year-old girl. She's actually up in her 40s. And it would make sense because she also, in that screenshot of the conversation that I posted for you guys, she complains about how Kirk is a 50-year-old man. Well, what would a 20-year-old woman be doing with a 50-year-old man? Like, she's not that young as it was portrayed through the whole thing with her and Logic. Logic had this whole thing set up to kind of deceive you guys. Again, this is why I put deception and lies and fraud in my video thumbnail, because it was all a lie. Everything that she's talking about, to make it seem like she's this young girl, like some of the lyrics in here, I'm pretty sure she can't even take some of the stuff that she's talking about because she's older. But anyways, let me get into it. The lyrics for the song "It'll Be Easy" that she done, and during this time again, I remember Kirk and her are at odds. They are not happy right now. So the lyrics are, "Mo Spence is a problem." So now she's considering herself as a problem person. "I want a man that knows his thing, never miserable, and never miserable and act like a king." Okay? So she wants a guy that's king like. And if you remember, like I said, Logic came in and rescued them like a boss, like a G, like a king. Okay? Then there was not afraid to spend his money because the funds are coming, knows how to treat a woman because him go party gym. Let me shoot my shot. His cocky has too long and his body has to cut. Me never settle down. He has to run like King Tut and give me the wine until I tell him to stop. She wants a man to do the manhandling, grab up my neck and deep push it in and have me ready to give him everything. So this is the type of guy that she wants now. She wants a guy to rough her up, grab her by her neck, mash up her spine, have to have a long cocky. He needs to act like a king, not afraid to spend money. And at this time, they're already at odds because there's no money coming in. And all the guys that are around her are seeing it as though she's the one that has all the money. So yeah, this is where, again, it's starting to proceed.
And I was, I've been on TV, I'm on radio, and things are going well, right? Things are going well. So I'm like, okay, this is great. So we're starting to build this trust for Mr. Logic. And that is where we went totally wrong. That's where we went wrong. So we built this trust for him, and then we just kept sending him money. Okay, if you get signed, usually when you get signed, the label is the one that takes care of all the finances and expenses.
So she's right. And I told her this. We had spoken, and this was at the point where I upset her. There's a part in the story where I really upset her for a post that I made on Facebook. But I'll get to that. She believed in Logic wholeheartedly, above the clouds, above the ceiling. You know what I mean? Like into the stars. And she was willing to just dash money into this stuff. Meanwhile, she's talking about how she gave him money, she gave him money, but then during the interviews, Logic took ownership for putting money into the music videos and everything else. She never mentioned that she was the one that put the money in, because at the time she was heart eyes for Logic.
A lot. If I should take you through the investment so far, I'm sure you'll be asking different questions now. I mean, why are you guys going this level? So far, should I
Go ahead,
disclose?
go ahead.
Yeah, so far I can say that from videos to production to marketing to plugins online and all that, we are almost at $30,000. Because we shot 3 videos, Rex, Scarface, and then director Selim. And
KP Salon.
yes, and these are top directors that you know they are model. So it's not easy at all. Just that I believe that whatever we are putting in her work will be recouped because of the kind of direction we are going, the songs, the focus, where we are going from here. The focus is to go across Africa and then to Europe. So from next month, she will be in Gambia, South Africa, and then we will hit Europe, all in promoting the EP.
Now you made mention.
With his company, he was I guess it was more like a management company. So any kind of services that.
That's correct. He was an artist manager. There was no record label. We tried to tell her and we tried to tell Kirk at the time that this does not look right. We don't have any value. There's no net worth for him anywhere. There's no how many records sold, et cetera, et cetera. But we did find articles of like another female artist that he had that wrote an article about nothing wrong with selling for plays, like basically, or selling sex for plays. Because his last artist, I think her name is Misha, she was another artist that was a female, and the last artist that he had, that he said, I will never ever ever work with a female artist again. And then Monique pops up, and then that's why you have all these radio hosts asking, how come you're working with a female artist again, since you said the last girl you were never gonna do it again. So we tried, me and the other band members tried to tell them that like this is not really all that legit after all. And just on a side note, if you guys remember, the day that Monique got signed, there was also a guy there that was actually from Ghana, from what I understand anyway. It wasn't just Monique that got signed that day. If any one of you guys know who that guy is, what happened to him? How come they signed him, they signed her, and there's no music videos, nothing on his social media, nothing on anywhere about the guy? It's everything about Monique. This is just a sidebar. I'm just a little bit curious. I just kind of want to know how come he didn't support a Ghanaian artist and he lives in Ghana versus a woman that he said that he was never going to work with. And he did that. Kind of weird, right?
That I needed, basically, like a music video, radio promo, anything. I had to be the one to pay for it. It was not coming out of the label's pockets.
Where did she get the money from?
At all. It was coming out of our pockets. So, things were going well for a while, and then all of a sudden things started slowing down. And I'm like, hey, okay, so when are we going to start shooting the music video for these other songs? Because I already paid for them, and they were not cheap. And I just keep seeing his life go up, going up, going up. He's living the lavish life. And I'm sitting there and I'm stuck and my career is going nowhere. It just all of a sudden just stopped. Like if you see the progression, you'll see, oh, Mo is doing great. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, where's Mo? What happened? Like, how come there's no new information, no updates about Mo? And it's because he kept taking the money and not doing the work. So it got to the point where like I was getting fed up and I'm like, look, what's going on? Because I paid all this money and nothing is getting done. And he's like, don't worry. This director, he's busy, he's traveling, he's doing this. Oh, this is that. Like there was always an excuse, and there's always, okay, no, don't worry, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday. Like he just always had an excuse for everything. So he told me that I needed to go to South Africa.
Okay, so during this time, when like you can see that there's a lot more communication between him and her, like she's saying, and then like all of a sudden now there's no conversation about Kirk. There's nothing about, I was going through all of this and then I went and I talked to my husband Kirk because this was crazy. He's supposed to promise all of these things, and I talked to my husband about it, and it doesn't make any sense. Like usually a woman who has the relationship with their man would confide in their husband about the situation, but you don't hear Kirk anymore. Kirk is not mentioned anywhere in this little segment here about her complaining to Kirk about it, her confiding in Kirk about the situation. Why? Because she wouldn't talk to him. Kirk wouldn't be able to do anything with her. She would use, her daughter to keep him away. And there was a lot of little things that happened. And obviously, you could see that Monique at this time and Logic were obviously hanging out a lot more than they really should be.
The reason why I needed to go to South Africa is because we recorded a song called Be Happy.
Okay, so the South Africa thing. At this point, right now, Kirk is already back in Canada. When she had to leave to go to South Africa, she was on her own. Kirk had already come back to Canada. He was doing his thing, trying to figure out his life. We had met up with him. We sat down and talked with him, tried to figure out what was going on down there, and even how the hell did he get home? Because I'm gonna get to this part now. There was a Facebook post, October 31st, 2023, that I had put up. And it blew up everything. Everything that she was, to me, completely diminished. Everything that she was to Kirk, I now understand why Kirk sent me the voice message that I played for you guys in the beginning. And this is why.
I see. You are not married, eh?
No.
Oh, fine. And you don't have a boyfriend, eh?
No.
Fine.
Music is my boyfriend.
Thank you.
Yes.
I am music. Me like it from the back door. Me.
So as you can see in that video, she goes public to deny Kirk twice. And in other videos, she continually denies him. At this point, bro, like, I'm just livid because I performed for your wedding. I was at your wedding. Oh, and to kill all the wedding rumors and everything else, so they're not rumors. They were married. Full blown, legit, 100% married. And you're not even like after a year, because this guy came in and saved you guys from being deported, you're gonna go and deny him? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? So I wrote a Facebook post, and I wrote that Facebook post, and she came back at me, and then I ended up getting threatened. And it's like, what? And she was in the car when it happened, and it's like my whole family now is being threatened. I'm getting phone calls from a Ghanaian number that I don't know, and everything is going like bananas at this point. So we're gonna continue.
It's one of my favorite songs that I've recorded out there, and I agreed to it because it has like a Amapiano vibe to it. It has a very South African sound to it. So I agreed that, okay, I will go to South Africa, shoot a music video out there, do some TV promo, do some radio.
So at this point, because I don't really know much about what's going on, because I was more so involved in a lot of what's going on with Kirk. And when Kirk finally came back to Canada, a lot of this stuff I didn't know, and neither did Kirk. So if you guys want to take her word for whatever she's saying about how her experience was in South Africa, then here's what it is. But I'm just going to skip over this.
Promo. But before all of that happened, a lot has been transpiring because of all the finances that that was coming out of our pockets and going into his pocket, you know, we were having a lot of stress. Like there was a lot of stress in the household, and there was a lot of resentment between Kirk and I.
So here's the resentment.
It was really bad, and it got to the point where Mr. Logic got involved in our personal life. Like instead of keeping it professional, he came into our personal business. He did see that I have been very stressed out because all this money keeps going, right? Keeps going into his pocket, and it was just very rough. And you know, he started to see the resentment that I was having toward Kirk and just toward everything that was going on. And I could have handled the situation a lot better than I did. I really, you know, I should have. And we both, Kirk and I both, allowed Mr. Logic to get into our personal business. So we would start having like all these meetings.
Okay, so she's talking about how she allowed Logic to get, or they allowed Logic to get into their personal business is a lie. It's a lie. She let that happen by allowing him to influence her and tell her things that she wanted to hear so that she would take his side over everything. Anything that Kirk wanted to suggest, like even when it came to some of the interviews, it was, Monique, it would be in your best interest to not say anything about the marriage, yada, yada, yada. So the agreement was that she was supposed to defer that question. So if the question came up, no comment. But she chose to say no. And that wasn't a part of the agreement. And after she had done that, there really was no going back. There was really no going back to cover that up. So she had to continue going with it because she had said it on one. She has to say it on all. So yeah, like that whole thing became like this whole resentment thing for them going through their relationship. And Kirk at the time didn't know, even when she had done that interview, that she had said that, because he had sent videos to all of us and was like, hey guys, here you go, Mo's got this thing, because he was still hopeful that that their relationship would still work, because she had backtracked. So now I have to kind of backtrack a little bit. But yeah, he was still hopeful that they were gonna be okay if he gave her space. So she would go off with Logic, they would go and do their thing, and then they would come back. So at the time, because Trudeau would, in Canada anyway, limited access for news posts on Facebook, we couldn't see when she went into this live. So she had sent a link. He had said, hey, how's it going? How'd the interview go? She's like, it went fine. Meanwhile, she literally publicly humiliated him across around the world. Sent the link to Kirk. Kirk didn't watch the video, sent it to us. We started watching it and we're like, oh my God. This girl just denied Kirk as her husband. Or she has no husband, she has no boyfriend. Okay. Kirk, did you watch the video? No. All I did was get the video and I sent it to you guys. Why? What's wrong? I'm like, yo, bro, you might want to scroll over to whatever minutes and whatever seconds. And he does, and he calls me back and he's like, oh my God. He's like, do you know how many people I send this to? I'm like, oh my God, how many people did you send it to? He's like, I sent to all my boys, my mom, my family. I thought it was about like a professional video about this, that, whatever, but she's laughing, giggling with him. They're talking about this, that, whatever, all the relationships, what kind of relationships, etc., 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 etc. Okay, so this is the resentment part where she didn't care for her marriage anymore.
With the American family and us about Kirk, instead of it being about my music and what's next for my music, he started calling meetings about Kirk and how we need to get rid of Kirk. You know, like one thing about Mr. Logic, he was very
okay. So yes, he called meetings about making Kirk leave and stuff like that, and I'll post a clip of the audio, or not the audio clip, the chat of what we had spoken about. But she was also right there with him, agreeing in the meeting that he needs to leave, that he needs to go back to Canada and go make money. And he needs to go and fix this because they need money. They need more money to do this and all the rest of it. And the plan, again, with the seed, gonna keep saying it, was that Logic was trying to get Kirk away from Mo so that he can have his way with Mo. Point blank, period.
Manipulative, and he kept telling me I need to leave Kirk. He kept telling me how Kirk is no good, and he just kept saying like a whole bunch of things, trying to convince me that Kirk needs to be gone.
If you really cared for the marriage, and if you were really standing 10 toes on that marriage, it doesn't matter what anybody says to you about your husband, especially somebody that you only knew for a year. You don't have nothing to hear from this guy. That's your husband. He brought you here. You know this guy for nothing, and he's going to tell you and give you advice about how, oh, you need to leave your man. Who are you again? But she allowed it, though.
And it got to the point where it got so, like, I don't want to say much about
what you were wrong,
because Kirk has his own side to the story as well. But there's a lot of things that I was not happy about when it came to Kirk. Like, there's a lot of things he was doing that I didn't agree with, and I was hurt and upset about.
Okay, so there's a rumor that was going around that she kind of conjured up, saying that the house help that she had, I think her name is Cassandra or something, that Kirk was flirting with her. Now, those of you that know Kirk is a very outgoing guy. He's very nice. He's very extroverted. He will run up to you, man or woman, grab you, pick you up, swing you around, and laugh and giggle. If the two of you end up falling on the ground because he can't hold your weight, that is what's going to happen. That is just who Kirk is. He's that guy that just loves people and loves to be around people. And when he sees anybody who he hasn't seen in a while, he will make the biggest scene in the world, and everybody will be looking. If you're not up to par with how Kirk does things, you might feel embarrassed, etc., etc. So, if there was anything that was going to actually end up happening with the house help, it would have officially happened because Mo was always gone with Kirk. Always. But she was mad about rumors because apparently the house help mentioned that he's always looking at her and he's always this and he's always that. No. So those are the things, one of the things that she's talking about. The other thing that she's talking about, I'll wait till a little bit later in the video to kind of get into that.
And vice versa. So he was basically feeling like I was choosing my career over him. Like, so, like, it was just...
I'll put in a screenshot right here. She did. I tried talking to her. I told her that I'd help her. She did. She chose a career over him.
It was very rough, very stressful, very stressful. And the whole family could feel it. The whole family was feeling the stress that was going on in the house. So I found out that Mr. Logic threatened Kirk's life, and it got
Okay,
so.
so here we are. She didn't find out. Kirk actually like called me a couple times because of the Facebook post that I made. I made that Facebook post and Logic was so mad, saying that I'm messing up his money, I'm messing up his brand, I'm messing up this, I'm messing up that. And her and him were bullying the hell out of Kirk, telling him, you need to call Mo and get him to take that post down, untag us, undo this, undo that, da 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 da. And it was like serious threats, like really, really serious threats, to the point where he was like, yo, they're gonna um unalive me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So then I said, well, if that's what's gonna happen, I'm not taking on nothing. Because the reason why they're not doing anything to you at this present moment is because that video is up there and it's gonna ruin them if I make it go any further. So he begged me, Mo, please take the video down, take the video down. And I'm like, what guarantees do I have that they're not gonna do it to you anyway if I take it down? And he's like, I'm your guarantee. I'm your guarantee. Trust me, it'll work. So, and I untagged them I untagged Mo from the post. Okay. And when I did that, he kept going at Kirk with the threats because I didn't take the whole video down. I took down the tag. So I untagged them. And fortunately, that particular music video never went around because they had to block it from being public, because I grabbed that video and posted it on my social media. So if they pushed that video and it wasn't private, it would go public, and then everybody would eventually see the post that I made under her music video. So they killed that promotion, and they were very upset. There were threats being made to the point where Kirk called me he sent me a text and said they're standing over me right now. They're very mad. Both of them are very mad with me over this situation. But I know what you're doing, and I know you're trying to keep me safe and this, that, whatever. So I'm gonna call you, but don't answer the phone. And at this point, I'm like, oh my God, like, what the hell is going on? That's his wife. What? So I'm like, nah, bro. Ain't no way this is happening. But then my phone rings and it's Kirk. And then it rings again. And then it rings again. And I'm looking at it, and I'm at work at the time. And I'm like, yo, please, God, I don't want to hear that this guy is disappeared, unalived, etc., etc. And I tell them, look, I have recordings of all of this stuff. And I was even saying, like, I could go to this person, the radio station that did their interview, and I'll expose the whole thing. So this whole video documentary thing on everything getting exposed was supposed to happen for a long time ago, but it never did, because Kirk made it home and I decided to leave it. But now she's doing these things, these videos now, and it's getting out of hand. So now I'm doing what I'm doing. But yes, what she's saying right now is a complete lie. She knew that there were threats on his life from long time. And this, again, because she's backtracking, this is me backtracking again back to October 31st when they saw it initially to maybe like 2 weeks into November that this thing was going and going and going. So for her to say, I found out, nah, bro, you were right there, yelling, tell him to take it down right now. And he's got recordings of like them over in the other room whispering and conspiring on ways to get at me and my family. And yeah, but this ain't about me. It's about her. So I'll leave that alone.
Bad that Kirk left. Kirk left in Ghana, left us in Ghana. And another reason why he left is because I told him to leave.
So okay, so you see how she has all that attitude about and Kirk left. Okay, Kirk left because he was fearing for his life. He was, from what we understood, going to die. At this point, I'm rallying up the troops. I'm calling police officers that I know personally, and I got them on standby. I'm trying to figure out as much as I can. I'm calling the boys that were a part of the wedding, all the groomsmen, because we were still a part of that whole chat. I go on the group chat, and I'm like, yo, boys, we got to get Kirk back home. He's in danger. His life is in danger. I'm trying to get some money up to go and put together for a plane ticket. Now, this is in December, okay? And I was like, guys, I know that this is a hard ask, but if we can all pitch like $50 to $100, we should be able to get him a plane ticket from, I believe it's Porter Airline, and get his ass back here as soon as possible. Because from what I understand, he might not make it because he was given, yeah, I almost forgot about that. Logic and Mo they numbered his days, basically. And it was like, you have such and such amount of days to have Mo Sachs take down that post, or like he said to Mo, it's going to be bloody for you. So I called their bluff and I left it, hoping that nothing was going to happen to Kirk and kind of thinking that if he was going to do something, he would have done it already. So because he didn't, I'm going to leave it up. And yes, some of you may say, wow, you gambled with your friend's life and you really rolled the dice there and this, that, whatever. But I had a very strong feeling that based on how things were going for the initial response back and forth on Halloween to November 1st to this November 2nd, etc., that nothing was really going to happen and that he was going to be okay. I also had conversations with his mom because his mom was calling me and she found out that I was literally one of the only persons that was riding for Kirk to try and get him back home, organizing something to get him home. I talked with his sister as well, and I told them, look, I am currently working at the airport. I'm building an aircraft hangar where they're going to be building the airplane, so I'm right there. So if he needs me to stay back and wait for him to come on the plane, just let me know and I'll be there. I'll drive him home. It's fine. So we all tried doing a whole bunch of stuff, but Kirk being Kirk really upset us, and he tried to repair something that was not going to be repaired. He tried to work things out with Mo. He didn't want to come home as a failure. And I get it, but like, bro, at some point you gotta leave your chips and just fold. Like, there was no coming back. The guy planted the seed and captured your wife. It's over. There was no going back. So we ended up not getting the plane tickets for him, unfortunately. And then in the video that you see already, she explains basically how he got home. Okay.
I told Kirk that he had to leave. Like with everything that was going on, like I was so resentful to Kirk. And I was also resenting Kirk because Kirk is the one who brought Mr. Logic into our lives. And
Technically, yes. Technically, no. Kirk brought Mr. Logic into their lives thinking that he was a big guy in the industry to try and sign Mo, and that's what he did. The other part of it was her allowing Logic to take control of their position in their marriage. He wanted Kirk out of the way. He wanted Mo all to himself. He got Mo into a house that was closer to them. Yes, Kirk was there, but the plan was to get them to leave from Costa to be closer to him for the music, and then kick Kirk out so that he can go and visit her, be around her, and all the rest of it. As you see in the video, she talks about how she was over at the Airbnb, eating his food, she was cooking for him, doing this, that, whatever, and all the rest of it. So that was the plan from the jump. And there was no, he let Mr. Logic in. No, you let Mr. Logic in. You were the one that was calling him a king and a big shot, and he's so powerful in Ghana, and he knows all these people, and oh my God, like he's the greatest person in the world, and oh my God, da da da. And then when she does all their interviews, it's like, oh, well, will there ever be a relationship thing between the two of you? And it's like, oh, well, maybe. And again, at this time, Kirk is back in Canada, and now she's free to say and do what she wants without any repercussions, because the guy that was around is no longer around anymore, and now Logic can kind of influence her decisions and make her say certain things on live radio or in the online interviews, as you can see.
now Kirk is pretty much allowing Mr. Logic to dictate our lives, you know? So for me, I was just angry. I was so angry. I just didn't see it at the time. I just took it as like Kirk was just being very selfish, you know, thinking about himself and going out, you know, partying, doing his thing, and then I would have to be stuck at home. I did not go anywhere. The only places I was able to go or allowed to go because of my contract with the label was I was not supposed to go anywhere. The only time I would go out is if I had like an event to go to, or a performance, or a radio interview, TV, or recording in the studio. Those were the only times I was able to go out.
I remember Kirk telling me that.
You know, when I would see Kirk go out and he's having fun and he's partying and he's doing his thing, it hurt. Like I was resenting that.
Okay. Okay, guys. So, that's the end of my part 2 video. It's starting to get real thick, as you guys can see. Like I promised, I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. The other video that I'm gonna do is gonna talk about this whole partying thing that Kirk was doing. It's not really what it is. There's a lot more to the story than what she's trying to portray. Like, yeah. So I hope you guys liked it. I found out later on that I could actually post longer videos, so I posted a longer video. It's almost an hour long, just like her video. Hopefully you guys didn't tune out and everything else. Catch you on the next one.